بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. So we stopped last week in the book Min Hidayat, Surah Al-Fatihah, from the benefits and guidance found in Surah Al-Fatihah by Shaykh Abdul Razak al-Badr in the chapter Taqreer al-Iman bil-Yawm al-Akhir, solidifying the belief in the last day. And last week we stopped on the hadith about A'mar al-Ummah, the lifespan, the general lifespan of the Ummah, that the Prophet ﷺ said that my Ummah, A'mar ummati ma bayna sitteen ila sab'een, that the lifespan of my Ummah is between 60 to 70 years, between 60 to 70 years. So we start with the discussion about the time that is taken off of a person's life based on sleep and the time that a person hasn't reached puberty, right? Which, if a person lived to be 60 years old, and you take off those two times because a person is not held responsible for their actions when they're asleep, and the person is not held responsible for their actions when they are before puberty. So if you take off those, if a person reaches 60 years, at 60 years, if you include both of those and deduct both of those, it takes off approximately 30. Half. 30 years if you reach 60. And that's the assumption that a person reaches 60 years. طيب. The next discussion is on the sirat, the bridge. As the discussion goes into the last day. So he says, حفظه الله وقد جاء في بعض الأحاديث أنه أدق من الشعر, that it comes in some of the narrations of the Prophet ﷺ that the sirat, the bridge, is thinner than a piece of hair. The bridge that everyone will have to cross Yawm al-Qiyamah, that is above the hellfire, that it is thinner than a piece of hair. قال سعيد بن الخدري رضي الله عنه بلغني أن الجسر أدق من الشعر. It reached me that the bridge is thinner, finer than a piece of hair, the bridge that everybody has to walk over. وأحد من السيف, and sharper than a sword. And sharper than a sword. Allahu musta'an. وله شاهد من حديث عائشة مرفوعا, in another hadith that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَلِجَهَنَّمْ جُسْرٌ أَدَقْ مِنَ الشَّعْرِ وَأَحَدْ مِنَ السَّيْفِ, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the hellfire has a bridge that is thinner than a piece of hair to walk across, and is sharper than a sword. The hadith, the second hadith, is related by Imam Ahmed. طيب, this bridge وَيُؤْمَرُ الْخَلَائِقِ بِالْمُرُورِ عَلَيْهَا, that all of the creation will be commanded to go across the bridge. And these events are from the things that are obligatory to believe in from the events of the last day and the hereafter. That the Muslim that believes in the last day has to believe in the events narrated about the last day in the Quran and in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that these are not optional to believe in. He says, وَيُؤْمَرُ الْخَلَائِقِ بِالْمُرُورِ عَلَيْهَا فَيَمُرُّونَ مُرُورًا مُتَفَاوِتًا عَلَى قَدْرِ أَعْمَالِهِمْ. Everybody will have to cross the bridge, and everybody will cross according to their actions. How a person crosses the bridge will be according to their actions. Everybody with me? Everybody has to cross, but how will a person cross? It's going to differ from person to person. Everyone won't cross the bridge with the same speed or ease. Jayid. يقول عليه الصلاة والسلام, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, المؤمن عليها كالطرف وكالبرق وكالريح وكالخيل. He said numerous things. Some of the believers will cross that bridge so fast, like the blinking of an eye. And some will cross with the speed of lightning. And some with the speed of a wind, some with the speed of a horse. إلى آخر الحديث. So even the believers won't all cross at the same speed, but everybody has to cross. وَأَمَّا الْكَافِرُ فَإِنَّهُ يُؤْتَى بِهِ يَمْشِي عَلَى رَأْسِهِ إِلَى أَنْ يَدْخُلَ النَّارِ. But as for the one who disbelieves in Allah and His Messenger, the one who died not believing in Allah, not believing in the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they will be brought يَمْشِي عَلَى رَأْسِهِ, walking on their heads, إِلَى أَنْ يَدْخُلَ النَّارِ, until they are thrown into the hellfire. Allah said in Surah Al-Isra, the ascension, right? Or the ascending, the night journey. In ayah number 97, وَنَحْشُرُهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ. Allah said we will raise them يوم القيامة on their faces. عُمْيًا وَبُكْمًا وَصُمًّا, that they won't be able to speak or anything, they won't see. وَمَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمْ, and their destination will be the hellfire. Walking on their faces, may Allah Jalla wa Ala protect us all from being from those people. And this should be a wake-up call when it comes for us, when it comes to da'wah to our Muslim or to our family members that are not Muslims, or to the people that maybe are not even family, the people that we love that are not Muslims, that Yawm al-Qiyamah is real, the bridge, the Sirat is real, the events that Allah described in the Quran and that the Messenger ﷺ described in the Hadith, they're real. That those who die disbelieving in Allah and His Messenger are going to come on their faces Yawm al-Qiyamah. قال قتادة حدثنا أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن رجلا قال يا نبي الله يحشر الكافر على وجهه يوم القيامة. The man came and he asked the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, O Messenger of Allah, O Prophet of Allah, a man, a person, are you saying that the person who dies disbelieving in Allah and disbelieving in His Messenger, that they're going to walk or they're going to be raised up on their faces Yawm al-Qiyamah? Is this possible for a person to be raised up and that they don't walk on their feet, that they walk on their face? Mumkin? Is that possible?
No.
Huh?
Is that taken literally?
Is it possible? No. This is the question that the men asked the Messenger alayhi salatu. It's possible. Allah protect us, man. قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, أليس الذي أمشاه على الرجلين في الدنيا قادرا أن يمشيه على وجهه يوم القيامة. He said, is not the one who caused him to walk on his feet in the dunya, is he not able to make them walk on their faces Yawm al-Qiyamah? Allah Jalla wa Ala is able to do all things. قال قتادة بلى وعزة ربنا. Of course, Allah, our Lord, is almighty. He's able to do anything. Of course, Allah is able to cause the people to walk on their faces. He says, ثم الناس من حيث دخول النار والنجاة منها ودخول الجنة ينقسم إلى ثلاث أقسام. So after discussing the reality of the sirat, that everybody has to cross it, and all of this comes under the belief of the last day. That belief in the last day includes the events described in the Quran and in the Sunnah. طيب. He said that when it comes to people entering the hellfire or entering paradise, then they're broken into three groups. They're broken into three groups. The people entering the hellfire or being saved from the hellfire, entering paradise, they're broken into three groups. The first group, قسم يدخلون النار ويخلدون فيها. The group that will enter the hellfire and they will be in there forever. فيبقون فيها أبد الآباد لا يقضى عليه فيموتوا ولا يخفف عنهم من عذابها وهذه العقوبة هي لكل كافر ومشرك وملحد, as Allah said in the Quran. The one who dies, not the one who lives, the one who dies, that they die disbelieving in Allah and His Messenger, that the punishment for that is the hellfire. And this is not something that the Muslim is ashamed of. This is the importance of da'wah, and this is the importance of telling people about Islam and calling people to Islam who might not know what Islam is. They might think Islam is one thing and they don't know what Islam is. So what they reject it based on a lot of times is what they think it is. If you tell them what Islam is, some. If Allah guides them, they'll tell you, I always believed that. Anyway, the importance of da'wah is that the people that we love that are not Muslims, that if they don't listen to us verbally, at least they should see Islam in our actions, at the least. At least they should be able to see Islam in our behavior. Sometimes they don't want to talk. They don't want to hear that. Not right now. You're always talking that, right? At the least, they should be able to see what Islam does for a person and our behavior and the way we behave, at the least. If we can't get a word to them verbally, at the least they should see it. If they don't see it, then we've fallen short, because actions are a form of da'wah. If they see us to be the same people that we were before we accepted Islam, if they see us to be worse than some of the people they consider bad people, then that's our problem. And we don't want to be people who are the causes of people turning away from the deen. Because this is a reality that Allah says in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَهُمْ نَارُ جَهَنَّمْ لَا يُقْضَى عَلَيْهِمْ فَيَمُوتُوا. Allah said those who die disbelieving in Allah, that the hellfire has been prepared for them. لَا يُقْضَى عَلَيْهِمْ فَيَمُوتُوا. It's not like going in the hellfire that they're going to die. Not that they're going to go to the hellfire and die, so, it's going to be the end of the punishment. That they're not going to die in the hellfire so that the punishment stops. You with me? Then Allah said, وَلَا يُخَفَّفْ عَنْهُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِهَا. They're not going to die. The people in the hellfire, they're not going to die so that the punishment stops. Then Allah said, وَلَا يُخَفَّفْ عَنْهُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِهَا. And the punishment of the hellfire won't be lessened. It won't be lightened for the people in the hellfire. It's not going to stop, and it won't be lightened or lessened. Then Allah said, كَذَلِكَ نَجَزِي كُلَّ كَفُورٍ. Allah said, and this is the reward, this is the reward for those who disbelieve. And then He described the people of the hellfire. And if we have people we love that are not Muslim, then it's at the least, they should see what Islam does for a person in us. If they don't listen to us, if they don't want to have a conversation, at the least, our da'wah should be the way we behave, at the least. Allah said, وَهُمْ, the people in the hellfire, وَهُمْ يَسْتَرِخُونَ فِيهَا رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا نَعْمَلْ صَالِحًا غَيْرَ الَّذِي كُنَّا نَعْمَلْ. Allah said, and if we all sit here right now and think about a person that we know and that we love dearly, that's not a Muslim. Somebody close to us that we love and that they're not Muslim. Allah said the person who dies disbelieving in Allah and His Messenger, He said, وَهُمْ يَسْتَرِخُونَ فِيهَا رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا. They will scream in the hellfire. They will be screaming. If you think about a person that you love that's not a Muslim, that they died disbelieving in Allah and His Messenger, Allah said that they will be screaming in the hellfire, and they will say, رَبَّنَا, oh my Lord, أَخْرِجْنَا, take us out of the hellfire. نَعْمَلْ صَالِحًا, if you take us out, we will do righteous deeds now. غَيْرَ الَّذِي كُنَّا نَعْمَلْ, not like what we used to do. Take us out now, and we'll do it right this time, not like what we used to do. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which shows the importance of da'wah. The importance of da'wah. That we gotta be people who have ghira, jealousy for the deen, to the fact that Islam, people should know that we Muslim, not just by our clothes. Because if we don't have on clothes that scream, I'm a Muslim, some of us don't behave like Muslims. If we don't have on clothes that say I'm a Muslim, then a person wouldn't know that we were Muslims, some of us. Right? If we don't have on a kufi, or thobe, or izar, right? Or if she doesn't have on her overgarment, right? Then a person wouldn't know. Based on actions. Allah said they'll be screaming in the hellfire, oh our Lord, take us out of the hellfire and send us back to the dunya, send us back to this life, we'll do right this time. But at that point, it's too late. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wa protect us and make us people who give da'wah on a serious level. Allah said at the end of the ayah, فَذُوقُوا فَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِن نَصِيرٍ. They will be able to say, taste the punishment of the hellfire. Those oppressors, فَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ, those people who oppress themselves, that they will not have any helpers. No one will be able to stop the punishment of the hellfire. Tayyib, that's the first group regarding the people that will either enter the hellfire or be saved from the hellfire. And all of this is from the belief of Ahl Sunnah. That if we believe in Yom Al-Qiyamah, that everything that happens on Yom Al-Qiyamah, we believe in it. Everything that Allah told us in the Quran is going to happen, we believe it. Everything that the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us in the Hadith is going to happen Yom Al-Qiyamah, we believe it. All of this is from that pillar of Iman, the belief in the last day. Tayyib. He says the second group, والقسم الثاني يدخل الجنة دخولا أوليا بدون حساب ولا عقاب. The second group is the group that will enter paradise without any reckoning. Without being punished. وَهَؤُلَاءِ هُمْ الْمُقْتَصِدُونَ وَالسَّابِقُونَ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ. Those who Allah described as being al-muqtasid and the sabiquna bil khayrat. The muqtasid, he's going to describe who they are. And who are the sabiqun? Those who rush to do good. Two different groups that will enter the paradise, as Allah said. ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ اصْطَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. Then they inherited our book, those who we chose from our slaves to inherit our book. Those who believed, from the believers. Even the believers are broken into different groups. So Allah said, فَمِنْهُمْ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ. From those people are, and these three groups are from the groups that will enter paradise. But only two of these three groups. There's three groups we're talking about now in this ayah. We're talking about two of them. Two of them went to the paradise without being punished. Allah said, فَمِنْهُمْ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ. Those who oppress their own selves. And how does a person oppress themselves? How does a man or woman oppress himself? Sinning, disobedience to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Allah says, from the people who we have given the book, from the believers, are those who sin. ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِ. They sin, and this is ظُلْم عَلَى النَّفْسِ. This is a person oppressing their own self by disobeying Allah. That's the first group. وَمِنْهُمْ مُقْتَصِدٌ. The second group, the muqtasid. وَمِنْهُمْ سَابِقٌ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَضْلُ الْكَبِيرُ جَنَّاتُ عَدْنٍ يَدْخُلُونَهَا. That is the great reward that they will enter paradise. جَنَّاتُ عَدْنٍ يَدْخُلُونَهَا. The paradise that they will enter. طيب. Meaning all three of those groups, even the one who is disobedient, even the one who is disobedient, that they will eventually enter paradise. But they're not like this group. They're not like the group who will enter paradise without being punished. طيب, the other two groups, he's talking about the other two groups. Al-Muqtasid was-Sabiq bil-Khayrat. Al-Muqtasid هو الذي فعل الواجب وترك المحرم. The muqtasid is the person who did the obligatory. They did what was obligatory on them, and they stayed away from the haram. The muqtasid, that they will enter paradise without being punished. As it said in the tafsir, muqtasidan ala ma yajibu alayh, that they did what was obligatory on them to do. The muqtasid. طيب. وَالسَّابِقُ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ. The one who, if you translate it, the one who rushed to do the khair, to do the good, they were rushing to do good deeds. هو الذي زاد بفعل المستحبات والبعد عن المكروهات والمنافسة في فعل الخيرات. فهؤلاء يدخلون دخولا أوليا. These two groups, in the second group, if we say those who rush to do good, they describe the people who did not just what is obligatory, but they did what is recommended on top of that. The first group, Al-Muqtasid, they did what was obligatory, and they stayed away from the haram. The other group, they did the obligatory and they did what was recommended. Clear? For example, anybody got an example? There you are. Praying obligatory prayers and offering the sunnah after the obligatory prayers. Sabiq bil khayrat, rushing to khayr. As the voluntary prayers, they're voluntary, nawafil, right? Not obligatory. But Allah spoke about the ones who do more, do what's recommended, right? Sabiq bil khayrat, sabiq bil khayrat, those who rush to do the good, or fasting, right? Mondays, Thursdays, the white days, all of that, right? And it's a lot of things that are considered mustahab, recommended. The problem we have is the question, is it obligatory or recommended? People ask this question, Yani, if it's recommended, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just do this. As if the recommended is not recommended. It's recommended for a reason. It's better to do it. It's better. It's better to pray the sunnah before and after all the 5 prayers. It's better. Yawm al-Qiyamah is better. Right? Is it obligatory? Of course it's not obligatory. That's why it's called sunnah and recommended. It's not obligatory, but it's better. Not that it's recommended, meaning it's not that important. Mustahab, recommended, doesn't mean it's not that important. The opposite. Recommended means it's better that you do this. Right? It's better that you did it, that you do it, than if you didn't do it. Right? It's better that you do it than you don't do it. This is a mustahab. And it's a lot that comes through in a whole lot. It's a whole lot. Even in the salat, it's a whole lot of things that are recommended that a lot of times we overlook. A lot of times we overlook them. But something as simple as the salawat, the sunnah prayers after, before, and after the salawat. Something like that, where a person's going to come Yawm al-Qiyamah, like it says in the hadith. And those prayers that we pray before and after the obligatory prayers, that Allah is going to tell the angel, go look and see what my slave has from prayer. Look at his prayer, or look at her prayer. Is his or her prayer complete, or is it deficient? Is it missing something? If it's missing something, if it's incomplete, it's naqis, then they'll be told, fill the holes, got holes in you, right? Fill the holes up in their prayers with their voluntary prayers. If a person has any voluntary prayers to show for. If a person doesn't have any voluntary prayers to show for it, then they have to stand before Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah. And Allah said the first thing that a person will be asked about Yawm al-Qiyamah from their actions is the salah. First thing from actions that a slave will be asked about, like the Prophet ﷺ said. أول ما يسأل العبد من أعمال يوم القيامة أو كما جاء في الحديث. The first thing that a person will be asked about from their actions Yawm al-Qiyamah is the salah. If the salah is deficient, now because I ain't really do this right, I rushed through this one, I ain't had no khushu here, I wasn't really concentrating this one, I prayed this salah every day, and I really rushed it because I had to do something to do around that time every day. 20 years I did that. Right? They come Yawm al-Qiyamah and there's holes in it. It's not complete. Something's missing. Either A person has voluntary prayers to fill those holes in, or B, a person doesn't have those voluntary prayers to fill those holes in. Salam al-afiyah. The khayrat, the mustahabbat. And there are a lot of things that fall under that category of being recommended. Not obligatory, no. If you don't do it, you're not going to be punished for not doing it. You're not going to be punished for not praying the 2 rak'ahs before Fajr. Right? It's not a punishment for that. But the Prophet ﷺ said, Rak'atay Fajr khayr min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. That the 2 rak'ahs before Fajr, 2 rak'ahs before Fajr, before the Salat al-Fajr, are better than the world and everything in it. Now, a person can say, well, they ain't obligatory, so, you're right, sahih. But you miss out on that reward, number 1, as the Prophet ﷺ said. And number 2, Yawm al-Qiyamah, that a person, that's less that we will have to show for ourselves, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Tayyib. Number 1, the Saajid bil khayrat, the one who rushes to the good, they do the obligatory and they do the recommended. And B, وَالْبُعْدْ عَنِ الْمَكْرُوهَاتِ. They stay away from the haram, just like the first group. But on top of that, they stay away from the things that are disliked. These are the people that will enter paradise with no punishment. That they stay away from the haram, and they stay away from the things that are disliked. Not that is a haram, no, but it's disliked. Oh, all right, well, cool. Like, haram meaning, dislike meaning, if a person does it, they're not deserving of Allah's punishment, right? Because it's not haram, it's disliked. But Allah spoke about a group of people in this ayat that will enter paradise without being punished. As-sabiq, sabiqu bil khayrat. Those who rush to do the good deeds. So he says the difference between the 2 groups. The first group, they do, if we can say, the bare minimum. The bare minimum. They do the obligatory, stay away from the haram. Right? The second group, they do the obligatory and more. They stay away from the haram and they stay away from the things that are disliked. Right? It says thirdly, وَالْمُنَافَسَةِ فِي فِعْلِ الْخَيْرَاتِ. And they are al-munafasa, in competition to do good deeds. Not to show off, to do good deeds. In competition to do khayr. And we all know those narrations about the Sahaba. When one came with some of his wealth, and another came with half of his wealth. He came with all of it. Not to show off, no, rushing to the good. That group is the second group. The second group are the people who do the bare minimum, and inside of the second group, the people who do the bare minimum and more. Either they do the obligatory and they do the things that are recommended, right? Which can go that's a long conversation. Recommended. What's recommended, right? And they stay away from the haram, and they stay away from the things that are disliked. Disliked. For example, in the salat mathalan, excess movement, that could break the salat. Mathalan, rolling up your clothes in the salat, rolling up clothes in the salat. It's considered disliked. Is it haram? You're not saying it's haram. Disliked. Disliked in general is not something that a person is deserving of being punished. And the point is that every time there's a prohibition on something, right? Generally, if Allah says, or the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, don't do something, then what is the hukm on that thing? The ruling on that thing is what? Huh? What's the hukm? Huh? Don't go near zina. This haram. Generally, if Allah Jalla wa ala, or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam command us to stay away from something, then whatever they tell us to stay away from is haram in general. But it doesn't necessitate that every prohibition has reached the level of something being haram. You with me? Every time Allah and His Messenger say stay away from something, it doesn't necessitate that the thing is haram. The general rule is the case, but not all the time.
So would that be like when you haircut or cut your fingernails before you go to slaughter?
Allahu A'lam. I give you one that pops out in my mind now because it's one that's famous. What's the ruling on eating with your left hand? Huh? Don't eat with your left hand. Because the shaitan eats with the left hand. Hukum, is it obligatory, sunnah, haram, dislike, or mubah? Do it again, maybe. Hukum, eating with the left hand, resembling the shaitan. Huh? Haram.
Is this around with dislike? You shouldn't talk. You got your phone. You know we take our phone in where you shouldn't answer your phone.
Eating with your left hand.
You're asking me.
I'm asking this question. Do you eat with your left?
No.
Haram?
From what we're talking about now, how we discussing it, I can't say if it's around. It might be disliked.
Like something like eating with the left hand. Some of the ulama discuss when it comes to the bab of adab. Adab, I say the bab of adab, a lot of those things go under things that are disliked when it comes to adab. Now, if something becomes disliked, it's more than that. We skipped a whole bunch of steps, but it's just general. If something is haram, the origin is that if it's a prohibition or something, if Allah and the Messenger is haram. It has to be something that removes it, just like obligatory. It has to be something that takes it out of the realm of being haram to dislike. There are things that remove it from one stage to the next. We didn't discuss all of that. We're just saying in general, not every prohibition means that something is haram. Right? The general rule is that it is, but there are things that can remove it from that level, let's say. Okay? There are things that can remove it from the level of being haram to the level of being something that is disliked. Okay? Not every time, not all of them. That don't mean, that doesn't mean you go on all of the prohibitions now, you're going to say they all dislike. It's just a side note that makruhat, there are a lot of them. طيب, those two groups, those who do the bare minimum and those who do the bare minimum on top of that, and stay away from those disliked things. That's the second group. So the first group, because he said there were 3 groups, but the second group had 2 groups inside of it. So if you call them 4, there's really 3 because group 1, group 2 has 2 groups inside of it, and then group 3. Right? One group is going to the hellfire. So protect us all. The other 2 groups will enter the paradise, but they're not the same. Because one of those groups will enter the paradise without being punished. The last group will be punished. Allah save us. I mean, أما الظالم لنفسه, the third group. أما الظالم لنفسه فهو القسم الثالث من هذه الأقسام وهو أرضى بالعقاب والحساب. They have been, they're open. This group of people, they're open to be punished, to the punishment of Allah Jalla wa'ala. وإذا عذبه الله تبارك وتعالى في النار جهنم يوم القيامة فإنه لا يخلده فيها. Even if they are punished, we shouldn't think it's okay to be punished in the hellfire. But Ahlul Iman, the people of Iman, even if they are punished, the people who die believing in Allah Jalla wa'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even if they have disobeyed Allah to some extent, the belief of Ahl Sunnah is that they will not be in the hellfire forever. That if they are punished in the hellfire, that Allah will give, each person will get exactly what they deserve from punishment. May Allah protect us. I mean, but they will not be there like the one who totally died, totally disbelieving in Allah and His Messenger. They're not the same. The one who believes in Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they die and they have disobeyed Allah to some extent is not like the one who died totally disbelieving in Allah and His Messenger. They're not the same. And therefore, in the hereafter, they won't be the same. And the punishment or the extent, the timing won't be the same. Tayyib. The one that be in the hellfire, the one who died disbelieving in Allah. Or the one who died putting partners with Allah Jalla wa'ala, the mushrik. The one who died putting partners with Allah. Or the one who died totally disbelieving in Allah and His Messenger. أما أصحاب الكبائر إذا دخلوا النار يوم القيامة بذنوبهم وكبائرهم التي هي دون الكفر بالله تبارك وتعالى فإنهم يبقون فيها ليطهروا ويمحصوا ويكونوا بعد ذلك مؤهلا لدخول الجنة. The person who dies, the Muslim who dies, and they have committed some of the major sins. They might have committed some of the major sins, right? That are less than kufr. The major sins that are less than disbelief. Not that they died disbelieving in Allah, they died disbelieving. No, they committed some of the major sins, but they didn't leave Islam. He says they will remain in the hellfire in order to be purified and cleansed. In order to be purified and cleansed, وَيَكُونُوا بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ مُؤَهِّلِينَ لِدُخُولِ الْجَنَّةِ. And after that, they will be worthy and ready to enter the paradise. Allah give us paradise and protect us from the hellfire.
So I got a question. So those of that third group, they have to enter the hellfire, purified and cleansed. Do they then have to also still stop at the country?
Do they still have to stop at the bridge after coming out of the hellfire?
The country, the Sirat is the bridge, right? Then it's the country, what would you call it? The country.
After coming out of the hellfire? Allah. Kawthar? Kanta. Allahu A'lam. All of this shows the importance of da'wah. If it's people we love, then we should be haris, we should be diligent and serious about calling them to Islam, at least showing them what Islam promotes and what Islam doesn't promote, at the least, if they won't listen to us. Sometimes they don't want to talk, they don't want to listen to us, whatever the reason may be. We might have rubbed them the wrong way early on, so they might not want to listen, but at the least they should be able to see Islam in our actions. They said about Imam Ahmed rahimahullah, that you could see the athar of ibadah. You could see the effect. You could see the effect of worship on him when he was walking. You can tell he was worshiping. You could see he was a person that was worship. Imam Ahmed rahimahullah. And he was young. When he was young, alayhi athar al-ibadah, that he had the effects of the results. And you could see it, people could see it on him. They should be able to see it. They should see Islam in the way we talk, right? The way we behave, the way we talk. We shouldn't sound like people in the corner. Evident, especially our women. Women out of pocket, men out of pocket. Sisters, we out of pocket though. A brother might could pass, like, he might be able to pass with no kufi on and nobody know he's a Muslim, even though it's wrong, right? But a person might not know the brother's a Muslim. He talking crazy, he might not know he's Muslim. Sisters be going out of, they be gone. Allah musta'an, Kimar on and everything. Allah musta'an. At the least, we should be thinking with that, I got my stuff on, let me chill. You know what I'm saying? I do have on a whole Islamic attire. Let me not say that right now. Out of respect. I don't want these people that are not Muslim to use me as a proof that Islam is not the truth. At the least. Let me not have all of these people that's standing here watching me. I'm going to go out in the street and fight somebody over something that's, I don't want to be the reason for people to say Islam is not the truth, at the least. And he's saying the sisters because they don't, who walks around with scarves on tied up, besides the Muslims? There's no getting around that. Everybody knows you're a Muslim, at the least to have some respect for the deen. And they say, well, Dad, I'm not going to do that. Number one, if taqwa don't hold the person back, if the fear of Allah don't hold a person back, at the least, I don't want to be a reason to push people away from the truth. A brother might be able to come, he might have on work clothes, nobody knows he's a Muslim. He might say something crazy, nobody's going to attach that necessarily to Islam, right? But a sister does it, everybody knows she's a Muslim, she's dressed like a Muslim, she can't get away from that. The visual is that there was this Muslim out there and she was acting crazy, right? That's bad da'wah. At the least it's bad da'wah. Allah musta'an. Allah Akbar. Stay there. Tayyib. We'll stop there. As he says lastly, that all of these things are considered to be from belief in the last day. Kitab wa sunnah ja'a فيهما البيان الشافي والإيضاح الكافي لما يكون في ذلك اليوم العظيم من المجازات والمحاسبة. All these things are found in the Quran and the Sunnah in detail. And the Muslim believes in that in detail with no doubt. من لا ولهذا كان من أصول الإيمان. It's from the usul, from the foundations of Iman. The basic, you can't be a Muslim without believing in there's going to be a last day. وَمَنْ لَا يُؤْمِنْ بِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَهُوَ كَافِرٌ بِاللَّهِ. Whoever doesn't believe in the last day is not a Muslim. They've disbelieved in Allah and His Messenger. The fact that they don't believe in one of the pillars, the fact they don't believe in one of the pillars of Iman, a person is not a Muslim. لا يقبل الله تبارك وتعالى منه صرفا ولا عدلا. And then he goes into the different texts, ayat, we'll stop there, that mention the pillars of Iman in the Quran, where the pillars of Iman are mentioned in the Quran. We'll do that next week, insha'Allah ta'ala. Any questions? طيب. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.